Hello YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez and you're watching my YouTube channel, Nicholas Montez. Welcome back to another YouTube channel video, everybody. I'm so excited to have it all back here together again. Now in today's video, we're going to be doing something that's a little bit late, but I couldn't do it earlier this year because I haven't seen all the films. But now that I've seen Godzilla, both Godzilla films, Godzilla and Godzilla King of the Monsters, I can finally rank all 4 films in the Monsterverse film series. So it's Godzilla, Godzilla King of the Monsters, Godzilla Kong Skull Island, Godzilla King of the Monsters, and Godzilla vs. Kong that came out earlier this year. So, without further ado, let's get started ranking all 4 Monsterverse films. So I actually just finished watching Godzilla King of the Monsters a couple minutes ago, and I gotta say, it's not that great of a movie, honestly. Now, on the positives, there are some good CGI and some cool monster fights, especially when Godzilla and this spider-like monster team up to stop this 3-headed monster with wings. That's, of course, very cool. But, really, I feel like most of the movie, much like Godzilla Part 1, we don't really, like Godzilla 1, we don't really see Godzilla much, and this film does it in a different way, where not only is it dark and it makes it worse because it's mostly just raining when Godzilla comes, it also shows like the fights of like the view of a it shows the fights as like the way they show the dude through the screen, they do it in the way people see it. And people on the ground see it, and I thought that was kind of weird. And also, I felt like there was just a lot of people just talking exposition, like, who are these monsters, and how many are there? Like, there's just so much exposition that they put into this film that just does not feel warranted to me. Now, granted, talking about how many monsters and titans there are out there, that sounds pretty cool. But they just talk about that throughout the entire movie and how to defeat Godzilla. So they pretty much they just plan more than they actually do, which is just very weird to me. And then also, I thought some of the relationships with like the girl that played the mom in Orphan, and then Eleven from Stranger Things. I say that because that's the role I know her from. I thought she had a nice relationship with her. But other than that, this film is not very good. Now, Godzilla is actually a bit of a step up from Godzilla King of the Monsters, but it's still not a good movie. Honestly, I would say that what makes this film so well is the characters. I think that, like, the relationship between Aaron Taylor Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen, which is kind of weird in the film because if you go watch this movie and then go watch Avengers Age of Ultron, you'll be really disgusted. Because, spoiler alert, in this film, they are husband and wife, and in Avengers Age of Ultron, they're brother and sister. And in this movie, like, they're all like kissing and wanting to get nasty, and it's like, ugh, this is so gross. But, you know, for the roles that they had in the film, it's okay. But when you just think about the 2 roles that they were in together, just, ugh, it's just wrong. But yeah, I thought the characters were pretty well done. But much like Godzilla King of the Monsters, this film really does not know how to do Godzilla in a solo film. Because, I don't know, I just don't know how they could do it. Now, obviously it has a great cast. There are some pretty cool visuals, and Godzilla keep fighting monsters. But the problem here is that they don't show him a lot, and it's just really weird with the way they do it with him. So I did not really like this movie. I did give it a B minus because I did enjoy some of the characters and some of the CGI and stuff like that, and some war stuff with the characters that like they were trying to figure out what was going on. But other than that, I didn't really like the movie that much, but it's okay. Now this is a movie that I think is a step up from Godzilla and Godzilla King of the Monsters, because it really just gives you what you want in a Monsterverse movie. The action between Godzilla and King Kong is of course fantastic. I mean, you don't get much fights in the film, but every single fight that they have, from the aircraft ship to the one in Japan or Tokyo, it's all fantastic. And especially, I actually am starting to like the night fight, because when you watch it, it looks really cool, especially with Godzilla shooting out nuclear breath all over the place, and like with the nuclear breath, you could see everything that's happening, but also you have buildings that are light up, so you could still see what's happening, even if he didn't shoot nuclear breath. But it makes it better. But also, I thought that the relationship, like, I thought King Kong actually had an arc in the film, where he was on this journey to find this axe and kind of find his true destiny and stuff like that. And then you also have this relationship with the little girl that he has in the movie that really reminds me of the relationship that he had with Brie Larson in Kong Skull Island, as well as the girl in King Kong 2005, which technically I have not watched that movie, but I will be watching it this summer in honor of Peter Jackson movies. But for me, I thought this, and also I also thought that the cast was also great, with the girl from Stranger Things, the kid from Deadpool 2, Billy Bobby Brown from the guy that played the cop, and well, not the cop, the dad, Miles' dad into Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, probably the guy from Child's Play, and then he also played a recent role, one of our May new releases, in The Woman in the Window. So he's actually pretty funny in this film. When he screams, it's just really funny. But you know, I rewatched it a second time back in April, and I gotta be honest with you, I watched it and I was like, I can agree with everything that people said. And then once you get to the third act with Godzilla and King Kong fighting Mega Godzilla, it's probably some of the best stuff we've ever gotten. And like, I feel like I agree with everybody of why people love this movie, but my number one is still the same. But I can agree with everybody. Like, my whole opinion changed, and I agree with all of you, and I'm totally on board whatever you guys have to say about this film. So I really enjoyed the movie, but my number one pick is a big of a banger. For me, this film pretty much captures everything that you want in a Monsterverse film. From the action to the likable cast to some pretty likable characters and a simple story. Right off the bat with the story, when it starts off with this like exciting sequence with a plane falling down and exploding, and then you have like this whole chase sequence, and like you think someone's gonna die, but then King Kong shows up, and it's like, what just happened? Like, how is this supposed to develop the story? But then you get to the scene with John Goodman and the other guys at that 1970s office, and that's where the story kind of makes sense. That it's one of those stories again where people want to go to this sort of island to explore this monster. And I think that's a very simple story. It's a simple story that you can understand and that everybody can understand. But really, the core, what makes this film so good is the world of Skull Island. Because once John C. Reilly's character gets introduced, you first off, you understand his character, because I thought that he was the best character of the entire film. How he has this arc of being trapped on this island since World War II. And then you also have King Kong, on the other hand, where you actually get to learn about him through John C. Reilly's words and his storytelling. as he tells the story of this movie, well, of King Kong. And I thought that was really good, the way they did it, the way they explored his parents, the way that he was like the king of this island. And I thought it was also really cool. But also, you get to explore some other animals of this land, like the skull crawlers, these weird looking rhinoceros type things, and then also pterodactyls, which I also like the pterodactyls because they also get like introduced into that, like the action sequences that happen. And I love that scene where Tom Hiddleston literally just uses John C. Reilly's sword to like cut them and kill them. Like, it's so cool, and like the action is just so good in this film. And then when you get to the third act, Kong literally uses like these throw medaling bars to kill the skull crawler, and like the action is just so good in this film, whether it's with the humans doing it or whether it's with King Kong doing it. All the action is great, and then also you got the helicopter fight as well. So the action is great, so the characters are great, and really, it's just a really beautiful film. Not other than Kong, the whole world of Skull Island just looks so real and just looks beautiful, and like it feels like you're kind of in a documentary when you see these other creatures. Like when the humans go to this other rhinoceros creature, it feels like you're kind of in a documentary a little bit. And except the documentary that's actual film. But yeah, that's the likability. For the dislikes, the humor does fall flat, and when people die, you don't really feel any emotions for it. Probably when the helicopters are fighting, when the helicopters are being destroyed and humans die in that scene, or when the guy sacrifices himself when the skullcrawler literally hits him with his tail and then he explodes. There's probably some emotion by that, but the deaths and humor just did not work for me. And then also, even though the cast was great in the film, like they had really good actors in the movie, the specific cast, the way they played their roles, I just never thought they played them really good. John C. Reilly was obviously a great role. He's fantastic in the role, but he plays a familiar role, but he's still great in the movie as he has an arc. But all the other characters, they just feel like that they're people to add to the story more. They're not people that have an arc in the film. They're just there because they were there, because they were part of this mission. They're just trying to get back home once they are stranded on that island. They're not doing anything to make this. They're just there to make the story move forward. But they still are likable actors. So overall, I enjoyed this movie a lot, and I've said a lot about this movie. And if you want to go check out my review leading up to Godzilla vs. Kong, which I reviewed back in March, you can definitely go check out that review, because it's basically everything I just said right now. It's all the stuff I just said. It's all in that review. So just go check out that review. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. My Instagram name is Marvel6, and my TikTok name is Marvel1Fan. If you guys don't understand those names, head to my back section to follow me on all social medias. I'm also on Letterboxd. It's the same name as my Instagram, Marvel_6_, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.